Hey, it's Nina the Food Dog here, and today we're going to break down the facts, the myths, and shocking truths about sugar. So stay tuned because what you learn today might change the way you eat forever. Well, first of all, let's start off. Natural sugar versus added sugar. There is a difference, y'all. So with natural sugars, you think things like fruit, dairy, and for added sugars, you think more the lines of like your processed foods, like your sugary drinks, your sweets, and things like that. So when you hear the term sugar, or when you're looking on the label as sugar, make sure to distinguish between natural and added. On the food labels, it will tell you how much of the sugar is actually added. The added sugars in this case are the bad guys. Okay? So yeah, that's the main difference between natural and added. All right, so I want you to know that because that's a common, that's the confusion for most of my clients. They don't know the difference between the two. So let's talk a little bit further about how these natural and added sugars are different. So they're processed in the body differently. So with the natural sugars, they're slower to absorb. They have a lower glycemic load, which means they don't spike your sugars, your blood sugars. They're very nutrient dense, and there are some gut health benefits. Now, on the other hand, added sugars, you get your rapid blood sugar spikes, which you don't want. There's increased inflammation. There's a higher risk of chronic disease with the more added sugars that you partake. The gut microbiome is disrupted, and eating a lot of added sugars tends to increase your cravings and energy crashes, and you get this vicious cycle. Okay, so that's another major difference between natural and added sugars. So you may ask, is sugar addictive? And my answer is yes, it has addictive properties, although it kind of differs from your substances like drugs, alcohol, but it can be addictive. Sugar can be addictive. All right, so you have to think in terms of, let's think in terms of brain chemistry and reward system. All right, so when you consume sugar, dopamine is released, and that's your brain's reward system. So regular sugar intake leads to cravings and eventually tolerance, which means you'll need to have more sugar in order to get the same effect. And you get withdrawal symptoms when you try to cut back or decrease your added sugar intake. So if you're not starting off with a lot of added sugar in the first place, you won't have to go through this. And in terms of blood sugar spikes and crashes, added sugar, of course, causes a rapid rise in blood sugar. Temporary energy, mood boost, yeah, you're feeling lovely. But then the insulin response leads to a rapid drop in blood sugar, which triggers hunger, more sugar cravings, and you get this vicious cycle of dependence. So there's this misconception that certain types of sugars like honey, agave, maple syrup, coconut sugar are much better than the refined ordinary table sugar. Well, these sugars still affect the body similarly to the table sugar. The bodies metabolize all sugars similarly, regardless of where they come from. So just because you're doing maple and honey and agave doesn't really get you off the hook. So let's get into the artificial sweetener debate. Very controversial topic these days. Are they good? Are they not so good? Well, potential benefits of artificial sweeteners. Blood sugar control, because they're not going to spike your blood sugar or your insulin. Weight management, little to no calories with the artificial sweeteners. Dental health, They don't contribute to cavities, and they're generally recognized as safe by most major health agencies. Now, the potential risk of artificial sweeteners. They may lead to increased cravings for sweets. Imagine that. And we definitely don't want that. They may still trigger insulin release, which could impact insulin sensitivity over time. And it's debatable on the cancer and health concerns. So that's where the big controversy comes in. And last but not least, the gut microbiome is disrupted. This can impact your digestion and your metabolism, and it can contribute to glucose intolerance. For me, the best approach when addressing the artificial sweetener topic, safer choices. I use stevia and monk fruit extract. Okay, those are the sweeteners that I use. And you really want to, when it comes to artificial sweeteners, you want to avoid excessive intake. You don't want to do too much of it. And last but not least, listen to your body. How does your body react to artificial sweeteners? I know for me, some artificial sweeteners cause GI upset for me. So just listen to your body when it comes to those types of sweeteners. So how much added sugar is recommended per day? Well, not really recommended, but what's the limit? For women, I'm going to say, according to the American Heart Association, 25 grams per day for women. That ain't a whole lot, y'all. And for men, around 38 grams. So they get a little bit more, but that's not that much either. So let me put it into perspective for you. I have here 16-ounce Coca-Cola bottle and a sweet tea bottle. Okay, regular sweet tea. So remember I said 25 grams for women, about 38 grams for men. This Coca-Cola bottle has 55 grams of added sugar. So for women, we have done it over twice with this Coca-Cola. All right, so 55 grams here of added sugar. And for the sweet tea, there's 48. So yeah, really pay attention to these sugary beverages that you may consume, because they are full of added sugars. And if you remember that limit, 25 grams for women, 38 grams for men. So remember that when you're looking at labels, look at the numbers of added sugars. How do you cut back on sugars without losing your mind? Well, start here. Balanced meals. Okay, when I say balanced meals, fiber-rich carb, protein source, and a healthy fat. Start off gradually. You don't have to just yank all of the added sugar out of your diet. You don't have to do that. Just cut back gradually. And what you can do now, especially for those of you that are eating all this sugar because you're stressed or your emotions have gotten the best of you, address some of those emotional triggers first. And then last but not least, hydration and sleep. Make sure you're getting enough of each, and hopefully that will ease some of those sugar cravings. So now, what would happen if you were to just quit sugar for a month? What would happen? Week one. Week one is probably going to be the hardest week, because you're going to be going through withdrawals and cravings and all that. Okay? So if you can make it through week one, and you can, week two, you get a little boost in energy. Your mood is a little bit more stable. And that's because your blood sugar is starting to be more stable. Your cravings are reducing, and your digestion is a little bit better. All right, so by week 3, shows cognitive and metabolic benefits, meaning mental clarity, you're thinking a little straighter, better sleep, and reduce inflammation. And by week 4, there's long-term adaptation. So, your taste buds starts to reset themselves. you get a little weight loss, and your insulin sensitivity is improved. So just give it some time. It can be done. So I want to challenge you. Try tracking your sugar intake for a week and see how much you really consume. You'd probably be surprised. Thank you for watching. And I want you to hit that like button if you learned something new today. And don't forget to subscribe for more no BS nutrition advice.